I really feel that our body is a conduit, and all the emotions we're experiencing, all the different sensations, they have so much data in them also, and sometimes certain feelings that can be strong that we don't give enough space to, they will take up a lot of the quote unquote operating memory. So, it's not about kind of getting rid of them or deleting them in that sense. It's more just giving space, and then they somehow vanish and transmute into something else. And then I feel more open, and then ideas start to come through, this warmth, the electricity in my spine, and all kinds of different sensations. And I just want to add that for me personally, fear is the emotion that I struggle the most with personally. It's, probably because it's the hardest to notice for me. Because, yeah, as Musing says, like, fear is the one I experience mentally, because I just shoot up into my mind and I intellectualize or rationalize, and I disconnect from my body. And so for me, I'm learning to simply give it space to, first of all, notice, okay, there's fear present, and then to really tune in inside and just to be with it, just to give space, not change it or do anything about it or like create a comforting story. No, actually, like, really give it more volume, give it more space, and see what happens, see what it has to say, or see how it feels in the body. And I feel the most beautiful things happen out of that. And so, yeah, hopefully that helps you on your journey, Carl. So I think, Paulina, you've been with us for a while, but I'll go to Akanksha first, since she raised the hand. I'm not sure, but we can go to you next if you'd like to share anything. Okay, or maybe not. Paulina, would you like to share anything or ask anything?
Hey, yes, thanks. Can you guys hear me? My first time in a while in a space.
Yeah, we can hear you well.
Nice. Yes, thanks. Very interesting topic. Very pertinent to my own very beginner journey here. I guess what I wanted to bring into the space is a discussion of, like, just like Musing said, my cup is full and overflowing, and here I come storming into X. I just want to share it. My life is full of bliss. I just want other people to live like me, like all the feels, right? And so, but the advice I'm facing is like, oh well, bliss doesn't sell, and transformation is not enough, and you kind of gotta make it more, bring it down a bit, make it a tangible outcome. Like, what exactly does it mean and stuff like this. And I experimented with, like, retrofitting my message, so to speak, into more like, okay, well, what do people want? What's the problem and solution framework? That kind of stuff. And it just, I don't know. I haven't found my way. Basically, as of 2 days ago, I decided to go back to just what the heart says. If the heart just wants to, you know, celebrate bliss, so be it. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I guess wanted to hear your input on that. I guess there you go. The question is, so I'm kind of stuck in this dilemma. Like, one day I wake up and I go, no, I want the most people possible to kind of hear the message and get on their own journey and discover these feelings and ways of being for themselves. So then I should adapt my message in a way that would reach more people based on people marketing psychology, etc. And then another day, like I said, I wake up and the thing inside says, no, stop marketing psychology. Just, radiate your bliss and the right people will find you. So yeah, any input on that? Thank you.
Yeah, well, it sounds like a really exciting place to because you're just kind of brimming with enthusiasm for what you want to communicate. And so, you know, I think to some extent the answer is yeah, all you have to do is find that alignment. But in asking the question, it sounds like maybe you're not aligned, and so I'll speak to maybe how you can close that gap a little bit. I'm curious, are you at the stage where you have a product or a service, or what's the ultimate outcome that you're looking for? Just to have a following that you can monetize through advertising, or talk to me a little bit about the outcome that you're hoping for that maybe hasn't quite manifested.
Sure. So I've been a seeker my whole life, 20 plus years, but it's specifically in the last year that since I immersed myself in the Gene Keys teaching, that life has really transformed. Like literally, I live in a state of felt bliss in my body. Uh, all the external kind of desires, ambitions fell away. I wake up in bliss. I stay in bliss. Like literally, these things that I've only read about in books before, I'm living them now. So that's, and for a while it was great, just staying in my cocoon. I'm a hermit in the jungles. Like this is good. I want more people to live this way. Like I see everyone else, so much. It seems like there's a lot of people suffering, and it's the a different way of living, being, and feeling is so within everyone's reach. So that's the primary motivation, is to kind of spread the wisdom of the Gene Keys more and sharing my journey, my own insights. I've also been training along the way in different modalities. So my thinking is like, well, Gene Keys is a real slow burn and internal self-exploration process, but if I can deliver it to people with more of a oomph, like a real transformational process up front, which I believe I can, that it'll, like, they will stay in the wisdom and continue exploring it on their own. But yeah, overall, just to get more people to be familiar with Gene Keys, to learn about the Gene Keys, because I feel like, no, it's not really me. It's that transmission that has that miraculous powers. But being able to assist along the way, and yeah, just like I guess many people here, ideally making a living out of it. Like I love Gene Keys, I live Gene Keys. They transform my life. To be able to, for a living, assist other people into the same transformation would definitely be a dream come true.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I'm somewhat familiar with Gene Keys, and I'm glad that you have some kind of a framework that you can reference because the things that I would do if I were trying to become I don't know if you would call yourself a coach or a consultant, or a practitioner of Gene Keys, but whatever the labeling is, I would go and one, find whoever the most successful Gene Keys consultant is, and from a very practical level, just map out what they're doing, map out what their website is, map out what their offer is, map out the type of testimonials that they have on their website. Make sure that you being in alignment is going to bring you what you want, but having a plan is going to allow you to be in more alignment, if that makes sense. And so often the plan and the structure and reverse engineering somebody who's already had a lot of success in the thing that you want to do, those are essentially permission slips for you to find deeper alignment with what you want to do. You don't need those things, but it's really hard to be like, well, I could make $100,000 in the next month doing Gene Keys when you don't have a plan. Because it's just going to be difficult for you to get up to speed with that. Maybe, it's definitely possible. But what I'm saying is that from a practical level, what I would do is I would reverse engineer 2 or 3 of the top Gene Keys consultants, maybe even try to get on a call with them. Many times I've hired my competitors so that I can do thorough market analysis. And so if that's an option, I would look into doing that, because it's just going to get you more in the alignment of, I'm an expert in this. Because it never fails that when I go and hire a competitor and am just shopping to see what the competition is like, and maybe I'm feeling a little insecure about entering into a new space in the market, and then I hire the competitor, and then I'm like, well, wait, I could say it better than this person. I'm better than this guy, and so you actually get a huge boost of confidence that here's this person that's charging all this money, and you have this deep recognition that you could do it better, that you could attract a more people by saying it in a different way, and so you want to find alignment in the present moment, but be looking for that creative impulse. And this is the important part, is for you, maybe it's not shopping a competitor. Maybe it's there's a particular marketing book that you need, or maybe you need to hire somebody that is specific to helping you build out a business plan, or to find an operator. You can give me a little bit more language on what resonates for you. But the most important thing is, one, sit with yourself quietly and feel any discomfort that you have around being let's say that as a spiritual business you want to do $250,000 a year as a Gene Keys consultant. Well, you're not going to be able to do that just in hourly trade-offs, most likely. So it means you're going to have some products. I think Gene Keys has some products that you could get affiliates on. Can't remember how it works, but you're probably going to need to build out a couple of information products. And so having that map of how somebody else who is already doing $250,000 a year in Gene Keys, that's going to give you some tangible steps. And then from there, as you find alignment, the alignment is going to give you the creative impulse on which thing on that competitor map is ready for you. So you may feel overwhelmed by doing a course, but there's something that you saw your competitor do that you're like, well, I could definitely do that. I could definitely put up a YouTube video. I could definitely find all of the experts in Gene Keys and do a podcast with them and record that and put it to YouTube and have SEO content around each of the different personas in Gene Keys so that people can find me. So a lot of it is giving yourself kind of a scattershot approach where you say, okay, these are all of the possible things that I could do to build my business based on what I see other successful people or who are doing the thing that I want to do doing. Now, let me find alignment in the present moment. And my alignment is going to show me and order the to-do list for me. It's going to show me which of those things is ready for the energy that I have right now. And that's how you follow the breadcrumb path into success. You don't have to do it how the other people did it. You just have to know what all of the possible options are. That allows you to recognize, okay, there's something in this for me that's going to allow me to be successful. Now you can get more. It sounds like you're aligned with Gene Keys. You need to just be aligned with, I can make a lot of money with Gene Keys. And so having all those options laid out allows you to find a little bit more energetic alignment with the idea that there could be some success there. And then your creative impulse, as you feel through your discomfort and find balance in your body around that and around all of those things that you've written down, is going to show you where the next piece for you is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, thanks a lot. Definitely very valuable advice. I guess I didn't really complete the intro so well. Yeah, incredible advice, and I will revisit it again. I did forget to say that I'm such a fiend in personal development that I'm in several different programs on X Growth and got marketing coaches. It's all in place. I got the plan, but basically, I guess my dilemma was that a lot of them are saying that you can't just sell bliss, which is what my alignment, my heart says I should be talking and selling. And I'm almost tearing up right now because yes, I am following the business models and the structures, and they're saying you can't do what the heart says I should do, and kind of what's the way out of that one. And so, yeah, like I said, I try. I am in programs on growth. I understand where I am in the cycle, what my next steps are as a small creator, all these things. But yeah. You said you can't sell bliss. What's the bliss outcome? Like, okay, what is it? Simplifying their life? Is it combating stress? But I'm like, nothing really fits except for, look, I live in a state of bliss and I want others to live like this also.
Yeah, well, of course you can sell bliss. There's so many people that are doing it, and they're doing it well, and they're making millions of dollars a year. And so anybody that tells you you can't, you might want to find a different consultant or mentor, because of course you can. People do it all the time, and you finding a model for that. And if you want to DM me offline, I can certainly send you some people that are a good model of selling bliss. But from a very practical level, when you're constructing an offer, if we're going to get back to the title of this space, like the bliss part is kind of the top of this value equation. So you want to be able to highlight the dream and the likelihood of achieving that dream. This is Alex Hermosi's value creation model, and so what you're talking about from from I want to sell bliss totally matches the top level of the value, messaging. And maybe you give bliss more detail, like what does it look like? It means having delicious conversations. It means finding a lover. Like you may have to unpack bliss in a way that people can really sink their teeth into. And sometimes mapping out the bottom half of the value equation, which is how much time or effort is going to be required to get those things, that those can all kind of be incorporated into how you start to communicate your thing. And I think that if you find some of the right people to model, you're going to see how this equation plays itself out. Because you can go up to anyone and be like, what is the most troubling thing in your life right now? And Gene Keys could be a solution to that. And so a lot of people pigeonhole themselves into saying, hey, you need to come and see me if you're ready to have a spiritual experience and to bliss out, where really the way that you're going to be able to massively increase the amount of clients that you get is by having some kind of a workflow where you can just be authentic and say, I'm a really good at solving problems. I have several modalities that I use. Gene Keys is one that I absolutely love. What are the biggest challenges in your life right now? And by asking that question, somebody's going to tell you what's going wrong, and then you can paint the picture for what it would look like for them to have relief from that. And really what we're selling as consultants is relief. Like the outcome that everybody wants from spirituality is relief from all of the current stuff that they have going on. Otherwise they wouldn't be seeking it out. And so I don't know, I'm trying to riff on this a little bit, but when I speak with people, I don't ever pitch myself as a life coach or as a spiritual, coach. I pitch myself as a consultant. And as a consultant, I'm trying to figure out what are your problems in your business. I mostly work with executives, so it's what are the challenges that you're having interacting with your staff, or with other people in your business, or in presenting your ideas. And ultimately, once they can clearly identify what the challenges are and articulate those to me, now I have all the fodder I need to figure out how I'm going to pitch Gene Keys as the solution. Because any modality like Gene Keys is going to have all kinds of things to fix all kinds of problems. But until you've given someone the space to unpack what their challenges actually are, nobody wants to buy bliss, because when you're in a state of agitation, you don't believe it's possible for you. But they will believe that maybe the agitation, they could get some relief from the agitation. And so you that can kind of be a Trojan horse into giving them the bliss experience that you want to give them. And ultimately, what are we talking about? We're just talking about like being a good listener and asking good questions. And offline, I can give you a handful of questions that you could ask clients or people as you talk to them. But questions like, what are your biggest challenges right now? You or even what's important to you right now? Like these are questions that allow you, or even like a question that I ask a lot of times when I meet with a client is, what's happening? Why are we even talking? What's happening in your world right now? Because people want to vent. They want to have an excuse to vent whatever their challenges are, because it's an energy release. And so if you can hold a container like that, they will naturally um, give some of the affinity of feeling that relief. They'll give to you just because you held the container. And the tighter a container that you can hold for someone, the more that they're going to trust you in larger and larger energy exchanges. And money is just an energy exchange. And so if you can show somebody that you can hold a that you can hold a tight container for them without with minimal energy exchange, you can then slowly grow that. Does that make sense, or am I just rambling for the sake of rambling?
No, that's all really awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I'll definitely reach out, send you a DM for some references. Yeah, I want to give space if anybody else wants to speak. Otherwise, it's been supremely valuable. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say, normally people pay thousands of dollars for this kind of advice, and this is incredibly valuable. And the only difference is, so like make sure you take that um, and remember that, because this is really valuable, and this is really high quality insight. And of course, like when we hear these things for free, they might not land as deeply for us, but trust me, this is, if you listen carefully, there's a lot that Musing Wizard is saying that is incredibly relevant and useful. So yeah, I have a few more questions for you, Musing, but I'd love to go to Akanksha before I ask them.
Hi, Musings. I really love what you said about alignment. But how do you find that alignment? For me, I'm much of a shadow worker. So, alignment for me is finding those opposing parts within you that are in resistance. I personally do not like the business stuff of what I'm doing. I'm more of a creative flow person. And when I'm into the business, the masculine aspects of things like uh, answering questions like technical questions, writing an offer, following up to leads, and things like that, it breaks my flow. I don't like doing that. So, what would you say is, for me, finding alignment would be finding somebody who could do that for me? And I've been sending this intention. So, what could I do? And how did you find alignment? That is what I'm curious to know.
Yeah, great question, and it really is the key, and it sounds easy, but it's also like one of those eye roll easy things. Because when you're not in alignment, when somebody says that's what you should do, it's so agitating. So let me try to unpack what it looks like for me. What it looks like for me is when I have agitation in my body, and you can become so connected to your nervous system just by sitting and having a noticing practice. So for 15 minutes every day, you're just noticing whatever physical sensations are happening in your body. After you do this for really not that long on a regular basis, you will have such a energetic opening to the events around you, where you'll start to sense them at an energetic level, and you'll start to sense things that are in alignment for you and not in alignment. And what that looks like is when something feels bad, I'm not aligned with it. There's either a belief system in the way that's preventing me from being aligned with this, or it's not the right thing for me. Either way, it's definitely not the thing for me to move forward with right now. So, what are my options in that moment when something feels bad? Let's say that somebody's like, "You got to read Alex Hermosi's new business book, $100 Million Offer. It's going to save your whole business." Well, because that's the advice that everybody gives. So if you're not aligned with that book, and it feels like that puts you too much in your masculine, then first sit with the discomfort that that's the only data that reality has given you right now. Because really, at the most esoteric level, the gripe isn't with the book. The gripe is, why hasn't God given me the answer yet? That, like, if you really get into what you're upset about, a lot of times it's me angry with my spiritual team that they haven't given me the information yet. And so then I have to feel through some of that anger, because some of that's childhood stuff, some of that's me actually being mad at my dad. So some of that is residual anger from something that I didn't fully feel, last week. So all of that is going to come up, and I don't need to judge it. I can just kind of feel how that all plays out. And then when I find balance in my body, that's a really good time to formulate a question for the universe. And so the question can be, I really want to do this thing. I want to deliver this message. I want to positively affect people's lives, and I want to derive great joy from how I'm able to inspire people. Give me some confirmation this week on where the next step in the breadcrumb path is for me. I will find alignment. I will appreciate the things that are around me. I will do my best to stay present. But here's what I need from you, universe. Here's what I need from you, life. I need you to give me some confirmation on where my next step is. And reality will mirror this back to you if you ask in this way and find alignment. Your job is to make sure that anytime agitation comes up around anything, though, that you build a container for yourself. And what I mean by that is you find a place where you're not going to be interrupted, and you give yourself 5 or 10 minutes, or if you're at work and you don't have that time, you take a few deep breaths, but you build enough space to try to feel your feelings in the moment, to feel the agitation and to allow that to dissipate, because the agitation is just trapped energy that's signaling to you, that's saying, hey, finally we're ready to release. If you'll just feel us, we'll release back into creative potential, and that will create a better satellite dish for you to receive the data that's already available to you. Because you can get so good at this that you recognize the solution is always available. You just aren't tuned into it yet. And so like a radio dial, you have to kind of dial your energy so that you can call in the right solution. For you, it might be a business partner, or it might be a female entrepreneur that had the same struggle of not wanting to go too into her masculine, and she decided to do it her own way and then wrote her own book. And so you might call in that book. It's one of the reasons that I was talking to Paulina about mapping other people who have done it, the thing that you want to do, because if you don't want to be so driven into your masculine, that's totally appropriate. There are plenty of powerful, beautiful women, like in their feminine, to a place where they are just transforming everyone that they come into contact with. So you need to just map who those people are, and recognize that you can have it through the feminine lens if you want to. Or you can have this beautiful dance with somebody who comes in and acts from the masculine, but you could also have that same dance within yourself. And so you have to decide, is it that I just love the feminine so much that I want to be wholly in the feminine, or is it that I have some anger and some disgust towards the masculine, that if I were able to heal that and feel through that, it would allow me to have this perfect balance of masculine and feminine within me. So only you can know that, and the way that you know that is by having this noticing practice. And when you think about, the masculine path, or your dad, or your boss who you used to have, that was a man, whatever part of the confirmation that life is going to give you is, it's going to show you what you need to feel to heal. And that's the mantra: I feel to heal. And so don't discount if you ask the universe to give you confirmation, and then the universe gives you some shitty thing that feels awful. Recognize that there might be some power in that. The universe is like an energetic acupuncturist. It gives us events designed to trigger us right in the nervous system where we need to move energy. And just like if you go to an acupuncturist and they stick a needle in you, you're not going to be like, God damn it, acupuncturist, why are you poking me? That hurts. No, you know that that is designed to move energy through the meridian line there where the energy was stuck. Well, that's what all events in life are, is energetic acupuncture needles. And so when we get triggered in that way, if we can sit through that agitation, have that agitation dissipate, that it will transmute itself. You may have to sit with it an hour. I mean, I've had to sit with myself for 5 or 6 hours before, if it's a big enough thing. If we're talking about daddy issues, I've got a lot of them. um but you build the container for yourself. You sit with it until the agitation, you can't track it at all. There's no part of it in your body anymore. That means that you fully release the trapped trauma. It is now there as creative potential, which means your satellite dish for being able to find the data that you need is now stronger. It's now more dialed in. And that's the place that you can start to then act from your creative impulse again. So then you go out and you pedal around doing the creative things that you want to do, and then something else agitates you. So you sit through that. Now you're in balance again. Your signal's even stronger. Now you go and pedal around following your creative impulse. Eventually, the opportunity just falls right in your lap if you do that.
Incredible. I resonate with everything. And I also just noticed there was a comment from Here Now who couldn't join us on speaker stage for some reason, but he said, Musing Wizard, you're the reincarnation of Terence McKenna. and there really is something in the voice and in the way that you speak, but also I think you're definitely a lot more grounded. I think with Terence we can definitely go into very far off places. So really appreciate all your advice and insight. Yeah, Musing Wizard, I just want to check in and see how you're feeling and what's present with you, and if you're happy to go on for a little longer.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I say it's 10:30 at night where I'm at, so probably 30 more minutes is all I've got in me.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, one question I had for you is how, coming back to the topic of the space, how to create an offer in a spiritual content business. So I'd love to talk to you about the pricing aspect of it. And, we can handle it from both kind of the practical side and let's say the more spiritual inner work, psychological inner aspect. And this is something I'm curious about myself, because I'm launching an offer at the moment on X for my guidance sessions, and I'm really kind of discovering, I mean, at first I started to offer them for free, now I've done pay as you wish, and now to decide on an actual number feels like a really funny game. And I notice a lot that comes up for me also, like that being a mirror of myself, and like, how do I value my services, or what am I confident to charge? What kind of beliefs come up? And also, like, do I just create an invitation and see who resonates? Because all the consulting and coaching that I've done in the past has always been on an ad hoc basis. Like, people reach out to me or hire me, whether I consulted startups or coached people one-on-one, and it's always been like, hey, like, what price feels good for you, or maybe I would name a price that felt good for me in the moment. But to create an offer that exists out there, like as a standalone with a fixed price, feels kind of difficult. But I wonder, maybe that's not even what I need to be doing, and sort of still tailor it to each person. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, I think it's about what kind of experience do you want to create for your clients. So, a lot of people start their service-based industry or their service-based business by doing hourly coaching. This is a very common starting place, and that's how I started it as well. And so that can be a way to get up to speed with the value that you're offering. And I guess the right price is whatever price you can say out loud without having your nervous system just totally recoil. Because if you can say it out loud and you're in alignment with the value that you're going to provide, and that it's going to be an energetic exchange that is worth what they're paying, then you can charge whatever you want. Over the course of my 20 years as a consultant, I went from charging like $40 an hour to charging thousands of dollars an hour. And it's just a matter of you becoming so aware of the value that you're giving people and dialing that in so well that you're just it always comes down to alignment. You're in alignment with the number that you're saying out loud, and so you have to, in coaching, there's two different approaches. It's like I can go shallow to mid level with a bunch of people, and just do hourly consulting with them, at $100 to $300 an hour is typically where people live at. um or I can go really deep, with a handful of people and create like basically a luxury high ticket experience, and that can, for both parties, be a more satisfying experience because you get to go so deep with someone. And so, I had a coach a long time ago who, when I was not charging a lot of money, they were like, right out, if you had to charge somebody $100,000, they had the money, and they liked you, but they wanted to know what they were going to get for $100,000. And so the thought experiment was, write out what that would look like. What would you sell somebody that you would be able to say, this is worth $100,000 based on your current skill set? And what that did is it showed me all of the things that I had, and what I wanted, what I really wanted my experiences to be. So as part of that, in addition to doing emotional processing, well, emotional processing on Zoom, it works. It's a great experience if you can't connect with someone in real life. But it's so much better if you get this incredible Airbnb in this incredible place, and you really set the tone by having a masseuse come in, and a yoga teacher, and so you can figure out like where you want to live on the scale of premium, and you can charge way more money for premium experiences because people almost think of it like a vacation. And so what I started to do with my coaching was saying, well, why am I doing hourly consulting over Zoom when I could rent out this incredible Airbnb? I'm getting the vacation too because I'm staying there too, and I'm baking it into a premium package where we're going to go really deep for 3 days in this beautiful location. It's just me and one other person, and I'm going to be able to transform somebody's life in 3 days. Where in a 1 hour call, maybe we can address one small issue that they're having in their life and start to put together a practice that they can have. So some of it is, how deep do I want to go? How much do I trust my ability to hold a container for someone? And what number can I say out loud that I can feel comfortable with? So I don't know. Maybe you can ask me some more questions and I can fine tune from there. But that's how I would kind of think about it. Is like, what do I want the outcome and experience of my client to be, and how much money do I need to charge in order to give them that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's really helpful. And yeah, what I learned from, because I kind of had to do a similar thing when I started to charge for photography services and for prints. And it's, and art is also something that it's kind of hard to put a price on it, right? And ultimately it was just feeling into what feels right for me, and kind of also what feels right, but kind of the upper edge of that, or sort of like, as you say, just that border of where it starts to feel kind of uncomfortable, like, I'm not sure. But also like sitting with, okay, like, how far can it go? Or, what comes up for me when I name this price or a slightly higher price or more? And for me, that's been a really beautiful point of reflection. So that's really helpful. And yeah, absolutely. I think ultimately with this kind of work, we're really selling the transformation, and it's not about the information. And the deeper we go, meaning, the longer container we can create, or the more regular container, the more opportunity there is also for a deeper transformation for the other person. And as you say, also, to create an actual space where we can be together physically over a long period of time. that definitely becomes a premium service. But I'll take you up on the question, and that's something I'm gonna cover more myself also. So thank you. Yeah, curious if anyone else would like to ask any questions to Musing. Also, if anyone among the listeners, Pradeep, Jason, all things spiritual, you're welcome to request the mic or share anything that you would like on this topic. And yeah, Musing, go ahead.
Yeah, one thing that I was going to add is just that, you know, whatever you set your price at, if you, even if it's uncomfortable, if you can hold, I keep using the word container, but what I mean by that is just like hold the energetic stance of it. Um, so say you want to charge, I remember when I bumped my prices from $100 to $250 an hour. That was probably the most uncomfortable bump that I ever did. And the conversation that I had with the universe was, I want to go deeper with people, and I want to attract a higher caliber of person that is dealing with challenges that I'm better suited for dealing with. That's really dealing with decisions that are going to be consequential to the community or the country. And so I said, I'm going to change my price to $250 an hour, and I'm going to say no to anyone that does not accept that price. And the relationship that you and I are going to have, life, is that you're going to find those people for me, and I'm going to feel through my agitation about people who say no to that offer. And so that's what I did. And people said no. Like, I lost a lot of old clients who didn't want to pay that. And I even struggled a little bit. One, because I didn't have such a dialed in process back then, um, for feeling through it. But but I struggled financially a little bit because I made a commitment to myself that I was going to say no until the universe delivered someone to me that said yes. And so, that forced me to get up to speed with the new price, because I was uncompromising on it. And it also put me into somewhat of a flow state. Like, if you've ever read the book Rise of Superman by Stephen Kotler, he maps how Red Bull athletes get into flow states and when that God mode engages for them. And what that looks like is God mode doesn't engage until you're jumping out of the helicopter. God mode doesn't engage until the avalanche is coming down on you, and the only thing to do is just move down the mountain. And so you kind of have to put yourself in a situation where you've jumped out of the plane, and that's when the flow state engages. That's when I was willing to jump out of the plane in that way and say, I'm not going to accept anything less than $250 an hour. And of course, I can charge way more now, but that first one was the hardest one, because I had to realize that once I was uncompromising in that number, I would engage these flow states where, when I was on a sales call talking to someone, new language would come to me. The perfect way to say it to them would come to me. I became more empathic and could read into what people needed to hear, and really what their true challenges were, and what I was uniquely skilled at that could allow them to overcome that. And so it was somewhat of a dance with life, where life, I used to write about it and call it the bump. Like, when you make a new big decision, or when you say, you know what, now I want this thing, life's going to bump back at you a little bit and say, are you sure? Are you sure you're not just comfortable where you're at? And our job is to feel through that discomfort and move forward anyway, to get into our stretch zone a little bit. And when we do this, life will then deliver the data flow. That's what flow is. It's data flow. You're perceiving more data. It will deliver the data flow that allows you to expertly speak and find the language and deliver the opportunity that's required for you to have that new outcome.